Greetings everyone, my name's Dom and today I'm going to be teaching you guys the techniques I use to edit my videos. And yes, for everyone new to this great bit of software, it does include the basics. Now, as you'll probably notice, I've put up a sort of index to help you guys get straight to a certain section of the video if you ever need to come back to something or if you ever need to know something. I'll add that everything I do inside these sections, say the slow motion under the section of basic editing, will all be in the description along with their headings. Now, the things I'll be going over is setting up your project, importing basic editing, transitions, keyframing, video and audio effects, pre-rendering, and exporting/rendering. I guess we could just get into this. This is all unscripted from here on out. So, you should all have Premiere Pro downloaded. You just want to go ahead and boot this up. Just a quick editing tip. I would put all of your Adobe software onto a SSD. I have mine, if I have a look here, on my local disk C drive. It's a 250 gig SanDisk Ultra 2. So, yeah. Let's start a new project here. Now, this is the screen that you'll want to open up. Here you can name your project, and let's name this test. Choose where you want it to be. You'll generally have two. This is the one that I've set myself. You can also choose the one in the documents folder, but this one, I like having it to that one because it's just much easier. Now, if you have a GPU, particularly a NVIDIA GPU, you might want to turn this one on if you're going to be doing some more intermediate edits such as a Gaussian blur and, well, just general keyframing and stuff that might use the GPU, because it does cut render times quite a bit, so I do recommend you use that. So yeah, nothing really anything else you need to do, so just click OK and it will open up this. Now, the version I am using is Adobe Premiere Pro CC 2015 up in the top left here. It's essentially exactly the same as all the other ones, so if you have an older version or even a newer version if one comes out after that, then don't worry because it will pretty much just be the same. There might be a few more effects or something, but either way, it's going to be exactly the same. Now, I will add that this video will be quite long. It will be quite long, but if you're not prepared to sit down for 20-30 minutes to watch a video on how to improve your quality of content, then you're not probably... it's not worth making videos at all. Half an hour is nothing in terms of how much this video will probably benefit you. And I can boast on that, because I've been using this software for like 2 years now. So, yeah. And as a result of this video being so laid back, I have actually got myself some tea. I love tea. You're going to hear me slurping now. Oh, blimey, that is hot. Woo! Now, let's get into the first bits. Setting up your project. Okay, so creating a sequence is the first bit. You want to go to New. Sequence, here. It's under File. And you'll open up with this. It will be completely random to you. First, what we want to do is you want to go into HDV and find 1080p 30. From here, you can go into Settings and set this bit, Editing Mode, to Custom. Now, what I recommend is change 30 to 60, because that's what I usually upload in. Now, if you want 1080p, make sure it's 1920 by 1080. Again, this is what I usually upload in, and square pixels, set that to 1. If you want 1440p, which is what I plan on uploading in future, then do 2516 by 1440. If you want 4K, then I believe it's 3840 by 2160. There you go, 16 by 9 aspect ratio. You can do 21 by 9 if you want, so 3440 by 1440. That's 21 by 9. It shows up as 43 by 18 for some reason, but it is 21 by 9. But again, that's up to you. I would guess another one for 21 by 9 is 2560 by 1080. That's another 21 by 9 resolution. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to do 1920 by 1080, which is 16 by 9 1080p. This is probably the one that you want to go for. Sample rate, just leave the rest of this basically all the same. Now, you might want to go for max bit depth and max render quality. However, if you do this, then it might cause it to lag a bit while you're editing. And this, it might just prolong your render times a bit more. For the sake of this video and smoothness, because I am recording, then I would leave these unchecked. Now, you can name your sequence here. I'm going to name it test preset. And then you do save preset, and from here you can name your preset. So again, test preset, and then I usually fill out a description. So like the resolution would be like 1080p, max quality, even though it's not really max quality, but that's just the general gist of it. You just click OK to save preset, and then it should just make a new one. Obviously, I already have the preset, so I didn't save it. But yeah. You'll be open to this screen now, and you can now use the timeline, which will become very, very handy. A good thing about Adobe Premiere Pro 2015 is that you have a lot of tabs, so you can edit audio, effects, color, and normal editing. This is just your basic workflow. Now, you'll notice that mine's a lot different to yours, and I forgot to mention this. Your project will be down here. Like so. This will be probably over here, I think. What else? And you'll have like audio editors up here as well. You can just close out of everything. Project needs to go up here. That's where I have it. And the toolbar, I like to have mine on the right. I don't really know why, but I just like mine on the right. So yeah. And obviously the effects one is what you want to have open. You can use the media browser, but I just find it easier to use my files. God damn, this bloody messages. I can't help being popular. Oh, Jesus. Can't help being popular, guys. So, now we'll get on to importing a video, I guess. Yes, importing a video. So, open up your file browser. I am running Windows 10, by the way, if you didn't already notice. Go to where you have gameplay or whatever you want to edit recorded. Oh, where's Revenge of the Nakeds? Ah, Never Trust the Naked. Here it is. This is one of my favourites. So yeah, you just do that. And right click, extract audio stream. And it will start to extract it. Okay, so we are back, and it looks like it has actually done it. Now, if you're wondering which one it is, it's going to be the second one, because Premiere Pro always puts in the first audio track and not the second. So if we just put this in, having a bit of a derpy moment. There we go. And now if we put our thing on there, I'll show you how to get rid of these black bars in a minute. If you put your video on there and then your second audio track on there, you will see that it lines up perfectly. There you go. Now, for those that are comfortable with Sony Vegas, you'll realize that you can't see the video on here or the audio. And this also annoys me. And it's very simple way of reconciliating it. You go up to this sort of like scroll here, and you click from the top and drag down, and the video will appear. Same with the audio. You just do that, and bugs your uncle. You now have audio, and you can see the waveforms and everything. So it's all good. To get rid of this sort of goes on to a bit of basic editing now. So you click on the one you want to edit, and you can either click or double click on the video, or you can go to effects controls. I recommend going straight to this, so then you don't end up enlarging the wrong thing. Here's where it gets a little bit more complicated for those that are beginning. You are available to time remapping. This will give you the speed, so this will do slow motion and stuff, but there's an easier way of doing it. Opacity. Now you can set the blend modes here. If you have like intro overlay like I do, then you can fiddle with that there, and you can make it dimmer or brighter. You also have a slider here to make it dimmer and brighter. If you don't, then right click, go to show clip keyframes, and then go to opacity and make sure that is enabled. Alright, so for the getting rid of the black bars, you'll see that it is now general sizing of this and position is going to be 960 by 540. That's center position in Premiere Pro. Because this is 720p recording, I recorded it on my previous PC, it's going to be small. It's going to be 720p, so it's not going to fill the whole screen, because we're in a 1080p project. So to do this, because it's 50% bigger to get 1080, you just do 150, and boom, takes it right up to the one that you want. Now, if we play it back,
what should we do, Dom?
you will see that it fills the whole screen and will be much more enjoyable than having black bars around the edge. And I'm sorry for penises. I hope I don't get, you know, found out for that. Before we start editing properly, I'm going to go through a few things that you can do before you get started that will help you in your workflow. Now, this is the effects tab here. You may find it a little bit tedious just to search for all of your effects. So, for example, if you wanted a transition, say dip to white, and we made like a small cut here, and then drag this back here, and say we wanted a transition from here to here, and we wanted to use dip to white, then you have to type it in and then drag it on. So then it does that. Instead of doing that, we can create what's called a custom bin. So you click this thing down here, and it will create that. You can double click it so you can rename it. Let's just do test bin. And from here you can type in dip to, and then it has dip to white and dip to black, both of which I recommend you put in your custom bin. Another thing you will want is the exponential fade. That is for audio. Test bin. And the cross dissolve, which is for video. What else? Horizontal flip, probably what you want. And vertical flip as well. There you go. What else? You want a Gaussian blur. And anything else? Any more for any more? Bass. You want a bass. Buttery biscuit bass, gotta love it. And treble, these are just the ones that I use. Make sure it's in the audio effects and not the transitions. Oh, what else? What else? Low pass, that sort of like muffles everything. A very, very useful effect. I use it a lot. Like, a lot. You will start to appreciate how much time I spend on all of these effects just to get certain build-ups to make more suspense in an area, to emphasize something, and to make the whole feel of the video more fast-paced or something. And it takes time, but it does come out really effectively. What else? Low pass. Levels. Levels is really good. I use this one to overexpose certain things. If you see, there was like this one where I like overexpose it and then sort of like have it fade in and then fade out. So it's really gradually introduces you to a new scene. So now we have our test bin, and we always have every single one that we could possibly need right at our fingertips without ever having to touch anything up ever again. Unless you wanted to get a new one, of course, and you just like make a, you know, just type it in and drag it in. Now I believe you can actually download custom effects onto here, like a denoiser, which I don't actually have installed because I updated to 2015, but that is something that you can download. And I'm sorry if we're overrunning a bit. What are we on? Okay, 6 minutes. Brilliant. Yeah, let's get into basic editing, shall we? So if we let's get rid of this. And if we drag that to the beginning, so we're back to normal. Back to our 1 video track and 2 audio tracks. Now you'll notice that this track we added is not paired to this track. So now I'm going to demonstrate unlinking and linking. This is to separate a video track from an audio track. If you highlight all the tracks that you want to link or unlink, you just right click and click unlink. Oh, I think that was group. Unlink. So now you can move this freely without ever having to worry about moving any other tracks. However, we want to link them all, so you just highlight them all again and link. There you go. Now we can move all 3. This means that when we want to splice something, it now splices all 3. If we wanted to splice just one, and and they were all unlinked, it would only do the video, so you'd have to do it individually, like that. So, what else? What have we got? Importing video. Okay, let's import some text. Importing text to the thing. Now, you can either do it in Photoshop, and then save it as a Photoshop file, and then drag it onto the timeline, or onto your project, like we did with the video and audio. Or you can actually do it inside of Premiere Pro itself, which is what I usually do unless I'm doing something pretty cool with an intro. Title, new title, default still, and then blog, and it will open up this sort of thing. If you have a look, you can go into a certain part of the video. Say if I wanted to add text here, then it will just come up as a preview up here. Oh damn boy, you'll notice that this one's really laggy. It's because it's a really sophisticated font and is extremely intensive, especially in Premiere Pro for some reason. It's not nowhere near as bad in Photoshop. Now if you want stuff to get centered, this is very useful. That will center it horizontally, this will center it vertically. So if you just like increase the size, oh damn, it's off center, boom, boom, oh, it's still a bit too big, okay, boom, boom. Now it's centered again. That's all good. Here these are the only things you really want to change, is shadow and an outer stroke. If you want to change this to one that I like to use, which is scorcher, which is apparently not here. There it is. Oh damn boy. Yep, so shadow and then an outer stroke. You just click add, and it will make it look a lot nicer. You can change the color if you highlight and then click this white. The yellow that I use is FFF000. The green I use is FF000. The red I use is F0000, like that. So yeah, just to let you know those kind of things that I use. But the white will do just fine for now. So you can actually pin this if you want up here, but I don't really want to do that. I like having it in a separate window. So yeah, so now we have it right here. Oh damn boy. Now if we play it back.
No,
oh damn boy.
No, you can't be Simon.
That will pop up then. Again, the timeline is very self-explanatory for all those that are familiar with Sony Vegas. It works exactly the same way. The eye will hide anything on the timeline along this layer. You just click it again and it will reappear. I never use any of this. Locking means that you can't actually access anything that's on it, so it will just play and you won't be able to edit it.
No.
Well, I always have mine unlocked. There's not really much point unless you like furiously don't want to move anything on that whole layer. So yeah, there's that. Let's do a bit of opacity, you know, having stuff fade in instead of it just cut right there. So if you hold control, then you'll notice that your cursor changes slightly. It has a plus on it. You just click on the this little this line, and it will add a keyframing point. From here you can control the opacity. Going down is how opaque you want it. So I reckon about 40 would be translucent, and transparent is 100 obviously, but 0 is opaque. So then it will now fade in like that.
No,
back.
no,
Yeah, oh damn boy. You can fade it in. Same with the other one, hold control, just do that again. Along the timeline is how long it takes to fade in, so if you drag it more, then it will take longer to fade than if it was just a short one. So that's just to let you know. If the timeline is getting a bit laggy, this happens when you have a lot of video effects going on, like Gaussian blur and stuff, then you might want to try and drop the playback resolution down to half or even quarter, but to be honest, quarter is just not worth it because, I mean, look at that. You can barely see anything. So I recommend, you always keep it on full because I have the system to run it, but if you have 8 gig of RAM, I don't know why you'd want 8 gig of RAM to edit, but if you do, I recommend having at least 16 for Premiere Pro. because it even gets laggy on 16 sometimes. So yeah, you just want to drop that down. What else have we got? Looking to my right, levels. Okay, so this was the thing that I was talking about where you can make it. If we just actually add it, to add something to it, you just click and hold and then drag it on. Now you just click on that, and here we are, levels. It just appears in the effects controls tab. The one that I use is white input level. It just does the amount of white you want on the screen. I'm not totally sure what everything means, but it just completely overexposes everything if you go below, like, what, 220. So yeah, you can use this. I always use this when I take a shot with a sniper that I want to edit. I've used it in so many videos you will not even believe. I use this little thing. Oh, is that a yes, that is. Alright, so let's use that. Let's use that little transition thing. Say I usually have it started at 0 and then keyframe it. This will start a keyframe, by the way. This is a bit of an intermediate thing. That will start keyframing, so whenever you do that, you know, it gets one of these things, and that's just basically a point. If you want to add another one, you just click that and it will just save it to whatever this value is here. But if you make adjustments, then it will automatically make one. So just to let you know, if we go back to the beginning here, and we want to bring this to there, if we zoom in a bit, there we go, it's a bit better. And we want this one here, to be much less brighter. So now when we play this back, it will gradually go from way overexposed to normal. So there you go. Now this is way too long here, so if we just dial that back and dial this back, boom. If we you just keep dialing it back until you get the appropriate result, let's say. And that's looking more like it if we put that back there. So yeah, that's one that I generally use. I tweak it a little bit more to make it look a little bit better, but generally that's how I use that sort of edit. It's a really good one to use if you want to, like, I don't know, if you look back at my videos, then I use it a lot. What else? Okay, how about screenshots? Now if you want to take a screenshot, it's on this little toolbar here. It's this camera. Just do export frame, make sure it's import to project, and if you do, you choose your path with browse, click OK, and on the desktop you will see it comes up there. And in your project file, it's here. You can just drag it on, so that's a static screenshot. You can use that, and if you import it into Photoshop, then you can get sort of like some cool edits where you like simulate it so it's as if it's like a scanner or something. You can do a lot of edits using that little screenshot tool, but again, you just have to sort of explore it for yourself and then apply your knowledge and understanding of Premiere Pro using these effects. So I've shown you unlinking, opacity, levels, cutting. I haven't actually shown you cutting, but it's extremely simple. It's instead of pressing S for Sony Vegas, I have mine bound to C. I'm not sure what it is originally, but you can change it in the settings or something. I don't know where it is, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So you could press C. I think it's C anyway. But you could just like hover your cursor over it and it'll tell you. Or you can click on it, and now you can edit and splice up your project. For example, if we wanted to like make a cut there, and then move this back. So I don't know. We can put in. What else can we put in? Let's have a look. This is something from old Rust. Say we wanted to do a flashback kind of thing. If we just do this. Alright, this is a pretty funny clip that I have recorded. Bearing in mind the frame rate here was absolute crud because my recording software had mucked up. I think the FPS is crud on this recording.
What?
It's not 60 FPS. But yeah, that was when we had admins on. We were playing with admins. But anyway, yeah. So if you wanted to do like a little flashback or something, I don't know, you could do that. You could apply the same effect which was the levels one that you did here. I believe you can you actually copy? Let's have a look. No, you can't because you need to add levels. Alright, let's have a look. Oh, you can. You don't even need to add it. Brilliant. So if we did like a opacity thing here. There you go. Now you can have that sort of like flashback kind of effect thing. And you can have it, if you put this up a thing, a jiffy. Let's just unlink this real quick just to see what this would look like. And then you can have it sort of like fade
Do that.
out so it goes back to it. Or, alternatively, you can have it, if it's like this, you can use your cross dissolve, another transition, where you just do that and it sort of just blends it like that. So, you know, it's up to you how you want to use your transitions. You can make your own like I do, or you can use the presets here. There's nothing wrong with using these presets. They're extremely useful. If you hold Alt as well and scroll in, then you can zoom in, but I just usually use this because it's faster. To edit these, you know, again, just like normal clips, drag and such, and that will dictate the length of the transition. See, that was quite fast. And you can just sort of like increase it, which I can't hear, but you can hear. If you increase it on one side, then it'll be much longer. That's essentially, it's exactly the same principles for everything in this. You know, you drag it longer, the thing's gonna go longer. Okay, what next? Slow motion. This is a cool one. Now let's find a cool moment in the video. I don't know, say we stormed in here and I wanted to show myself getting killed here. So we just get the cuts tool. Let's delete this for the time being. If we go out here and just cut it from there. V is the select tool, by the way. Bring this back to the start. And we wanted to make a specific bit slow motion. So just my death here.
You're the only one that's not doing anything here. Stimulus, come on, get in a line.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's when we were playing guitar with them, and then they started to kill us. So yeah, say I wanted to make that bit slow motion, and actually let me just take this out here. Slow motion is a lot easier if you have a higher frame rate, but you just go to speed and duration, and then if you want it to play at half speed, you just do 50%. Although bear in mind, this will like cut your FPS in half if you do 50%, because then it'll play it at 30 FPS. If you have a look, and that is really laggy because the frame rate while playing was like 30 FPS on my old PC. Very bad. But yeah, I already got like a crappy cut there.
Oh, right.
Obviously I would not edit this poorly, but I'm just showing you techniques. So that's how you do slow motion. What else? Resizing video, I showed you that. Transitions, I've done that. Keyframing, audio, video, motion, zooming. Okay, let's do motion actually. If we go here, we get this thumbnail or screenshot, and say it was this small, we had video in the background. Here we go. There's video. And we wanted it to go from the top left to the top right, or to the bottom right even. You go into the effects controls, you go into the drop down box, and whatever you click here you will be changing. Okay, so we want to change the position and the rotation, let's say, and why not the scale? We can change the scale as well. So at the moment, if we drag this to the start, that is where the frame is currently, that's where the picture is currently. Say we want it halfway through, this will be a really low and slow drag, but halfway through we want it to end up here, and again it would make that transition. And say we also wanted it to be rotated a bit and a bit smaller. As you can see, as I did that, it added a new keyframe to each of these. So if we watch that back, it's going to be really slow.
Right. He just came in.
There you go. It gets smaller, it rotates, and it goes to the bottom right. Now you'll notice that it just suddenly stops and it doesn't really look too great. To counteract this, all you have to do is select all of these, all of the end ones, right click, temporal interpolation, and do ease in. For the beginning ones, you want to right click, temporal interpolation, ease out. Now, when you play it back,
He just came in and blowed me.
you can see that it does it much smoother. This is so handy and it looks so much more professional. So definitely use that. Unless you want to make it look clanky on purpose, then by all means, you know, go with
He just came in and blowed me.
that, which looks kind of horrible in my opinion. But yeah, it's up to you. So that's how to keyframe, and it's exactly the same with Gaussian blur, for example. Keyframing works exactly the same. It's just how you want it. Say we want it not blurry here, and then by the time it gets here we want it blurry. Let's say, oh, that's pretty blurry. There, that'll do it. So you just take it to where you want it to be blurry, and then where you want it to end. Play it back. Now it gets more blurry, and so on and so forth. This is really simple. This repeat edge pixels is very so handy. A word of advice: if you want a sort of effect where it's like rushing, so if instead, oh, let's delete this. So it's just here. If we want it to go to the right, then what I would recommend doing is horizontal. So by the time it gets there, it's blurred like. Wait, no. Let's do blur like that. And then as it gets to here, you do no blur. So then you do that. You do an ease in there, and an ease out there. So now if we watch that over, it should be blurry as it's travelling, and then not be blurry anymore. Actually, by the time it gets to there, let's make that a bit more blurry. There we go. There. And if we hold Alt, yeah. If you hold Alt, then you'll be copying however many you want. It's exactly the same in Photoshop. So now if we watch that over, it should get blurry to a point, and then it will stop. It will be the same blurriness from here to here, and then it will be unblurred, because that's how we've programmed it. So if we watch back,
He just came in and blowed me.
there you go, and that looks actually pretty good. Now if we add a ease in here and an ease out, and if we made this like that,
He just came in and
there you go. That looks so much nicer. So you can do a lot with keyframing, and I mean a lot. Now we are definitely running this is going to be a long video. Let's quickly go into video effects, and well, actually no, we've done video effects, so we've done Gaussian blur. Let's do a low pass. So if we want to muffle out something, so we'd add it to the thing down there. Get rid of levels. We don't want that. We don't want anything to do with audio. Now it has our different tracks here. The highest will be non-muffled. It sets it to about halfway. Say we want the game audio to be muffled for some reason, then you know, you just drag this back. And again, the same with keyframing. If you want it to be muffled at the start, and then at some point, say here, not muffled, and then you just put it to the max, and then play it back.
Why is he doing that?
Oh, help me up, please. Please, I'm gonna die.
Okay, you can't really hear the difference there.
Oh, help me up, please. Please,
You
I'm
can
gonna
hear
die
it's,
otherwise.
Much. it's so muffled. We do it even less, so like 1000 hertz.
Oh, help me up, please. Please, I'm gonna die otherwise. Oh, God.
This effect is really useful if you have like a World War II scenario and a grenade goes off in someone's ear, or a gunshot, and you want everything to seem muffled, so it like connects you to the character that's on screen. Sounds all very a bit too over exaggerated, and a bit of overkill, but I mean it does, you know, for like a gaming editor like myself. But I mean it's still a really good effect that you can use. Color correction. Now I'm not the best at color correction. I guess we can have a try. Oh, American bloody spellings. Curves. Is this the one? This is the one. So say I wanted it to be a bit more red, and I can like curve it that way. I don't know, I'm probably not the best to watch in terms of color correction, so in fact I just won't do it. But I mean, red will add more saturation if you do it up in the highs. Blue adds a much colder feel. I mean, that would probably, like, if you wanted like a zombie apocalypse video, that'd be pretty cool. Green is just, I wouldn't use green if I were you. Go back to normal. And master is just overall, I think that's, yeah, exposure. So that's sort of like the levels thing that I've already covered. Right, cool. Again, keyframing works exactly the same way. To cut this a little bit short, I'm just going to go over render. Okay, so at the end you want to say you have your video down to, I don't know, 20 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, and you want it just to be this length. Then what you want to do is watch it over. If you're happy with it all, file, save, and it'll save the project. File, and you go to export, media. Make sure it's H.264, it will be AAC audio or AVI. Here you can do customizable settings, so you can untick that and do a custom resolution, whether it's 2560 by 1440 or whatever. 60 FPS, again, untick it if you want to change it. But this is just what the source is, so it's all matched to source. Now in terms of bitrate, sometimes it's best to leave it at what this is, or sometimes you can, you know, go to 300, which is complete overkill, or 50 is what I usually do. So, you know, it's all up to you. Don't use frame blending, that's a really, really bad idea. You can import it to projects so you can find it easily if you lose it. Use previews, I always have on, and max render quality, and also max depth. And then you just click export. Oh, I can't be bothered to wait. Okay, yeah, so once it's done, you go onto the desktop, say this is the video, you watch the video, and boom, you're happy with it. And you go on to flipping YouTube, up here. Oh, internet's taking a shit right now. Go to upload, boom, flippity dippity, add that, and then it starts uploading. But before I go, let me just add, if you feel like you could have done a better job, you probably could. Don't get lazy with your edits. You'll find that if you're editing late at night, you just want to finish it. In this case, just save your work and save again, then come back to it later. Make a note on your ideas that you wanted to include. I'm sure all of your subscribers won't mind another day or another couple hours without a video. Better to have it uploaded later, knowing it's the best that it could possibly be, rather than having it uploaded early, unfinished, or unpolished. It can make the difference between a new sub and a loyal viewer, or just another passerby. Remember, your content needs to stand out and be unique in some way. How is your Call of Duty or Battlefield video different to, say, a bigger YouTuber's video? Think on that and adopt it into your videos in the future. Getting a new monitor can also really help with workflow. For example, I just picked up the Acer XB270HU, and that is great for editing. It's 1440p, which is a great step up from 1080p, offering 75% more screen real estate, and let me tell you, it does come in handy. It's 144Hz, so editing feels so much smoother, and you wouldn't expect it, but I think I can edit quicker on this panel than my 60Hz BenQ GL2 450. It's also IPS, so color correction is so much easier, even though I don't really use it all that much. Obviously, you don't have to spend as much as I did getting all the best specs, but it does help with a bigger resolution. Another example would be to get an ultra-wide monitor. It's essentially two 16:9 monitors beside each other without the bezel. I mentioned this earlier. 3440 by 1440 would be the optimal resolution, but I'm sure 2560 by 1080 would be fine if you don't have the extra cash. But anyway guys, once again, that about wraps it up for my Premiere Pro CC tutorial. I put the index up on screen for a little while longer, but if this video did help you out, I'm sorry I'm stumbling on my words, then do show your appreciation by tapping that like button. I love your face, and I will see you guys in the next one. Ta-ra!